Cool stuff happened, and then just bam, right out from under us.
Frustrated businesses still closed, now revolting against the governor and him leaving out of phase 2 of the reopening plan. Dozens of businesses, from clubs to gyms, even trampoline parks, are now suing the governor for the right to reopen. This is just the latest frustration from business owners who've been waiting for months to get back on the job, and now they say the governor's current order is unconstitutional. Channel 9's Blaine Tollison is joining us now live at a local gym that's part of that push for legal action. And Blaine, they are open.
Yeah, High Fitness just down the street from where we are in South End is open, and we saw a steady stream of business there today. People not required to wear masks, but there was hand sanitizer and wiping down of the equipment. The owner closed for more than 2 months, and he's like so many others. He's frustrated and wanted to reopen. High Fitness in Lower South End is one more business that is done waiting. Rob Jenkins says to gym people, this is a sanctuary.
I'm not overstating it when I say that. It's a refuge. It's where you go when the rest of the world is on fire, and it's your place of stability.
But not when you have to shut a 2-month-old business down, as Jenkins and his business partner had to do in March.
Some really cool stuff happened, and then just bam, right out from under us.
Hundreds of gyms across North Carolina are in the same boat. Now several are fighting Governor Roy Cooper's order in Superior Court. Attorney Chuck Kitchen, who filed a lawsuit against the state today, is representing several gyms.
The Constitution recognizes that you have an absolute right to work. Cannot be removed by the state.
But last week, DHHS Secretary Dr. Mandy Cohen said gyms were excluded from phase 2 because they're a higher risk for spreading the virus. Governor Cooper addressed gyms defying his order yesterday.
It's deeply concerning when people ignore the order. I'm pleased that most people and most businesses in North Carolina are acting responsibly.
But it's not just gyms. A trampoline park in Raleigh filed a lawsuit yesterday, and so did more than 24 companies that run adult entertainment venues, including several in Charlotte. 75 North Carolina bowling alleys are also threatening legal action. Still, it seems more and more won't even wait for a judge's decision.
And at this point, it just feels arbitrary for some other stuff to be open and us not be included in that.
An update on the adult entertainment venues. Their request for a temporary injunction against Governor Cooper's order was denied. We'll see what happens with gyms. The attorney told me, Scott, that they do not have a court date set just yet.
All right, Blaine, thanks very much. A lot of frustration out there for sure. From bar owners as well. They're waiting to reopen, but state lawmakers are trying to help them out. There is a Senate bill to allow bars to sell drinks outside on a patio or in a tent. Cities could temporarily shut down streets to make space for outdoor seating. That bill is still working through some different committees. Bars can reopen under phase 3, but that's not set until June the 26th. Gyms and entertainment venues also are supposed to reopen at that time. Restaurants, other businesses, and places of worship can have increased capacity, and high-risk individuals will be encouraged to keep social distancing. There would still be restrictions in nursing homes and other group care facilities. That's under phase 3. The state pushed back on opening bars and gyms because they said data like daily cases and hospitalizations were not trending down.
Yeah, now hospitalizations have spiked again. 702 COVID-19 patients are in the hospital. That's compared to 621 yesterday. And look at that yellow line. That tracks a 7-day average of hospitalizations. It's been climbing for 2 straight weeks now. The state wants to see that trend down or level off for 2 weeks before moving into phase 3. Now let's look at cases. The state reported 488 new cases today. That's out of nearly 12,000 tests. So only about 4% of those tests came back positive. In South Carolina, the percentage of positive cases jumped from 4% to more than 7%. There were more than 200 new cases. The state also reported 20 new deaths today.
Well, tonight our hearts are really going out to this girl in Gaston County. Nasani Rayleigh is about to graduate high school in just a few weeks, but tonight she's recovering from surgery. Someone shot her last night. She was working at a Burger King on Market Street in Cramerton. Our Gaston County reporter Ken Lemon spoke to her family today about what happened.
While family members are asking for prayers for the 17-year-old who went into surgery today, her grandfather says he prays for the person who shot her in the back on her job in the parking lot here. Nasani Rayleigh is graduating from Stuart Cramer High School at 17, 1 year early. Her family said last night She went from prime of her life to fighting to live.
It just don't make sense for a person to do this to another human being.
Her father spoke to me via video about the night he will never forget.
It's hard for me to rest knowing my daughter is going to go through so many complications, through surgery, to something that shouldn't never happen.
Rayla was working here in Cramerton last night, possibly taking out trash at this Burger King, when her family said someone shot her in the back and left her there. Rayleigh was planning to go into the Air Force while taking college courses. Her father says she wants to carry on the tradition of military service in her family.
And I hope that this incident does not stop her from achieving her dream.
I asked her grandfather, an Army veteran, what he would say to the shooter that still hasn't been caught.
I have to pray for him.
But he says he wants that person to understand the pain that Rayleigh and her family are dealing with.
It's just a terrible, awful thing for someone to do.
Police call the shooting an isolated incident. They are reviewing security camera video from the store to find the shooter and waiting to talk to Nasani. I talked with the police chief today. He's releasing very little information, no real details about the investigation. He did say that his detectives are talking with witnesses and looking for anyone who may have seen something here last night. Back to you.
All right, Ken, thank you. She is certainly in our prayers today. Well, we have a new twist on the RNC 2020 debate unfolding this week. The nation's top infectious disease expert is warning that we need to move cautiously when deciding to hold political conventions like the RNC. Let's turn to Channel 9's Damani Lewis for a look at this warning. Damani?
Well, Genevieve, this all began Monday when the president tweeted threats to pull the RNC out of Charlotte. He said the governor, Roy Cooper, couldn't promise that they could pack the Spectrum Center in Uptown, so he threatened to move it somewhere else. Well, today, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, said we need to reserve judgment when it comes to holding these political events. Dr. Fauci says we need to see how things develop in the coming weeks and months, and packing a stadium full of people may not be the best decision.
I mean, if we have a really significant diminution in the number of new cases and hospitalizations, and we're at a level where it's really very low, then again, according to the guidelines, you may be able to go to whatever phase you're in and have some sort of a capability of gathering. But I think we need to reserve judgment right now because we're still a few months from there. Hopefully we will see that diminution. If we don't, then as I've said before, I would have significant reservations about that.
President Trump is demanding Governor Cooper give him an answer immediately about the convention's future in the city. On Monday, State Health Secretary Mandy Cohen sent a letter to the RNC asking for a safety plan. A spokesperson told us this afternoon that the RNC hasn't responded yet.